The United States and Canada failed to reach a new free trade agreement by a self-imposed deadline today. Instead, President Trump announced that he will sign a pact with Mexico in 90 days and that Canada could still join it. The new agreement, if reached, would replace NAFTA. It also was reported today that Mr. Trump said in an off-the-record conversation that the U.S. would make no concessions in the Canada negotiations. But he told interviewers afterward that saying it publicly would be so insulting that Canada would balk at any deal. The president confirmed the comment during an appearance today in Charlotte, North Carolina.
They actually printed my off the record. They said, President Trump said, off the record, and then they go on to this. I said, this is a first. These are very dishonorable people. But I said, in the end, it's okay, because at least Canada knows how I feel.
The U.S.-Canada negotiations are set to resume on Wednesday, and the Canadian foreign minister said she's confident that they can get a deal. For more on all this, I'm joined by our White House correspondent, Yamiche Alcindor. So, Yamiche, this was supposed to be deadline day, self-imposed. They came up to the brink, but now they're going to keep talking. Why?
They're going to keep talking because essentially that this is really good economics for both countries. Canada depends on NAFTA for a lot of their economic growth, so it would be really hard for Canada to move forward without NAFTA. And the United States, one of their biggest trading partners is Canada, so they also want to continue to try to talk and get a deal done. And then President Trump made a promise to voters. He campaigned all across the country talking about NAFTA, saying that he was going to get something better for workers, so he wants to do that. So this extension allows him more time to try to do that.
So how are they going to do this? I mean, there was this deadline, as we said. How do they make this work?
Well, now, essentially, the Trump administration is saying to Congress, we think that we can at least give you 90 days that we'll have an agreement. They are pushing to get this agreement done before the Mexican government changes over. There's going to be a new president in November, after November 30th. So they want to try to get this done. But the U.S. is saying that they're on solid legal ground, that they think that they can do this with Congress. But the Canadian foreign minister had a press conference today, and she would not respond to questions about how President Trump is impacting these talks. That doesn't look good. Even though she says that this is positive and that things are going forward on solid ground, she didn't want to talk about the President of the United States.
And just quickly, Yamiche, speaking of that, I mean, we just quoted what the president had to say, that I don't want to say what I believe about Canada. It would be so insulting. How is that? Do we know how that's affecting what's going on?
Well, it's hard to say because, again, the Canadian foreign minister doesn't want to touch anything that President Trump is saying. That said, you have Bloomberg saying we didn't publish anything that was off the record. I talked to a representative from Bloomberg today who had no comment on the president's specific tweet. Both parties definitely want something done on NAFTA. Bernie Sanders in the Democratic side, and a lot of Republican senators have said to voters all across the country that NAFTA is a problem and they want to get something done. So we'll just have to see whether or not they can make this deal happen. But they've told Congress that it's going to be in 90 days. The president said that he would go forward with Mexico. They've hinted that they would go forward without Canada.
Up to the precipice. Now it keeps going.
Yeah.
Yamiche Alcindor, thank you.
Thanks.